just want to give an appeal to Meg. If you need some sisters, like some older sisters, specifically myself, I'm the oldest of two.
Big sis.
I could really, actually 3, because I got a 16-year-old, my sister,
okay.
and then my sister, and then my brother. They will all let you know I give very good advice. If I have to, I could be real holy, and then every now and again I'll be a bitch, please. It's whatever you need.
Depends on the day. Depends on the day.
It depends on the situation, right? And I would have been, if you had a sister like me, I'd have been the first one knocking on Kelsey's door, making sure her teeth was straight, because I would have been the first one that said, if your mouth ain't saying what need to be said, it ain't gonna be no question. Because like looking at that whole situation, I was like, girl, you need to reset your whole friend group.
Word. Word.
Listen, you guys.
Hello.
We are back. Episode 2, season 2, episode 2. How you feeling? What it do?
We're
what it look like? Listen, I just feel like with this, our little outfit's like brown skin girl. Anywho,
I look like I'm sexy librarian today. That's what I am.
Listen, we have some extra peoples here who are just very opinionated, you know. We
want to be heard.
We're very passionate, you know, and sometimes the passion just keeps rolling and rolling. But here we are, ladies. How y'all doing?
We're doing good.
Y'all looking
How about
beautiful.
you? Thank you.
Sasha, it's the glasses for me.
I love your earrings. They're so cute.
You know, that's my Steve.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're matching your nails.
Oh yeah. I was like, pop art nails.
The pop art nails are giving
life.
It's very trendy right now. It's a whole little situation. Okay, well, I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here again for another episode of UC Babe. You guys, so listen, I was on social media a few days ago. What I was supposed to be doing was posting the reel. But then I just went down the rabbit hole, like my life. Okay, but so you can relate.
Yes.
And I fell upon a post where a stylist was talking about just how demanding it is now. Not only do you have to be a good hairstylist, provide the salon experience, but now your Instagram got to be looking like a whole thing. You're basically an Instagram influencer,
yes,
because people want bits and pieces of your life. You got to be in the stories. So here I am at the salon, got the camera here, angling it there, trying to shampoo, still trying to ask my client how they doing. I'm
It's
tired.
too much.
I'm
It's
so
too much.
overwhelmed. Like, how are y'all managing social media and salon life?
And
Because the thing is this, is either you do that or you hire somebody
right
to manage your social media, which is an expense, another expense for the business. How y'all managing it? How y'all doing?
we do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both. We've paid somebody, paid some people a lot, a little too much in my opinion, and then we done, we're paying somebody who has more vision. Because, like, to be honest, I probably have so much content in my phone that has not been delivered anywhere to the market.
Right.
It might be just outdated at this point.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? It's just because I just don't. It's like you almost have to put on a new cap each time.
Yeah.
It's too many jobs.
It's a lot. It's a whole lot. And if you're naturally so I know some people don't believe this, but I am not always. It takes me a while to warm up to you, right? So even when I'm prepping for a new client or whatever that experience is going to be, I have to mentally prepare myself. So even with social media, there's parts of my life that I'm always going to want to keep private, right? As I've become older, I've learned to have a sort of a balance. Because I know just the industry that we're in, it requires a little bit of yourself. So when you are someone who's a little bit more introvert or who just takes a while to warm up to people in general, it's hard going onto social media and doing what I see people doing. It's a lot. I commend you guys. I don't know how you do it.
God bless you.
God bless y'all. And I'm still trying to figure out how to get my tripod to stay on and my phone is sliding. It's a lot. The lights, so
It happens a lot for me. Like I'll start to record something and then there's no ending.
You'll get the beginning and not get the ending. I don't know how many of those I got.
Too many.
Too
Yeah.
many. It's crazy. It's wild.
Because of how our salon is set up, like our shampoo bowls are like below our cupboards.
Mm-hmm.
So like to try to get the washing, I like put the phone,
Try to
you know,
angle the
like
phone.
this angle so that the edge is out. And then because my hair is always in a bun, I realize, you know, when I'm looking back at the videos, when I'm bending down to wash my client's hair, the bun is moving the camera back.
Jesus.
So the whole video is messed up.
It's
So you
your
know
bun.
that's more editing
Yeah.
that you have to do. It's like you have to wear so many
many
hats.
hats. Yeah.
And I realize now, like that is a big part of what everyone is selling, like social
Yes.
media part. You know, like even people who are teaching people classes on how to actually do hair, there's a section about
Yeah,
how to market
marketing. Yeah.
yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, we learned that in hair school marketing, you know, blah blah blah.
Correct.
But now there's
not
a
like-
whole
yeah.
section just about social
Yeah,
media.
marketing
Pinterest.
before was like, you know, you pass out your business cards,
No.
you go
Wow,
into
flyers.
pass out your
Flyers.
flyers, you make your cool flyers. Now, what flyers?
What flyers? I
Yeah.
haven't
You have
handed a
flyers.
business card out in years.
Oh yeah, or even business cards, right?
Mhm.
Like
I
that's
don't
not
have
even
any.
the first thing someone's gonna ask is, are you on Instagram? Do you have a social media?
Yes.
Because they want to, which I get, they want to see your work before they even decide whether or not they want to go
Right.
on this journey with you, which I totally respect. It's just, I'm not saying I don't get it. I'm just saying it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Agreed.
You guys, we're in the month of February. Are you feeling the love?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sure.
I don't know what that are we doing are we doing the dating report? I think when the month is over we can talk.
It's so funny. A client called to book for session.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to her, "Oh, Sasha, you want to take an appointment at 4 on the 14th?" She's like, "Yeah, why not?" I was like, "That's Valentine's Day."
Yeah. Just in case.
You know, just in case. Keep
Yes.
yourself open. And she
I'm
was
sorry.
dying laughing because
I
it was
didn't even
non-existent to her.
it
before I said
really crossed
something.
my mind. It's
Yeah.
been years that I've celebrated
A
Valentine's
Valentine's
Day.
So sad.
We're gonna change that very,
Yeah.
very soon.
good.
That's gonna change very
It
soon.
feels like I have a lot of people on my side trying to change.
Yes,
Yes,
no, we're gonna
we're
change that
here
soon.
for
I think the first thing that you gotta change the mentality,
mindset.
the mindset, the mentality.
Yes, for sure.
The mentality is it's coming and it's gonna be a beautiful thing. It's gonna be great. So, and even if it doesn't come, even spending Valentine's alone or showing yourself that self love or spending it with your girlfriends. I know I've done that several times.
Galentine's.
You know, a little galentines, a little girl time. Because when we're talking about love, it doesn't necessarily have to be love for a partner. It could be love for yourself, love for the people around you, friends. Just showing appreciation, I think,
Yeah.
is the bigger picture. Like, because remember back in the days when you was in school, right? You
Give your
would
friends
go and
the
give
little
out your
candy.
friends all your little candies, you know, and say, and you know, you write to and from, and you and so on and so forth. So even if we take it back to then, it was just like an appreciation thing. Like, hey, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And I know
Exactly.
some people are not big on, oh yeah, you should show somebody love every day, da 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 da. Yeah, you should show them love every day, but I love love. Somebody just, you know,
Yeah. She like love.
I love you guys. Like,
Are you the Hallmark Channel type of
big
love?
time,
Big
So
time.
big time. Hallmark girl. I'll probably do, you know, a few Lifetime movies as well. I love to see it, even though I know exactly how the movie's gonna go and how it's gonna end, and they're gonna kiss, and then the tree, and then they're gonna be throwing, you know, the rice at the wedding afterward. I love to see it.
Yes.
I love to see it all. I don't care.
So we have those moments at the salon where it would be like Christmas time. Sometimes
Yeah,
we'll just be
we
like,
love Christmas
we can do
movies.
Christmas Hallmark.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe for Valentine's Day, I'll let the TV run some Hallmark movies for
But
a
don't
week.
it make you feel good?
At first it does, and then you be like, it ain't happening in my life. I don't keep seeing this bullshit. I'm just.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well then listen. I'm hoping that plans change real soon.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
plans change.
agreed.
Crystal, you have Valentine's plans
I do not
yet?
yet.
Okay.
No, not yet.
You see, we were just trying to, you know, we're trying to keep it positive, y'all. Trying to.
Yes. It's funny. I'm sorry.
What
It's
is
funny because I actually asked, you know, someone if they would be okay with me not being here for Valentine's Day because I might have to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually the only weekend that I have like 4 days that I'm not working. So
Right.
I might not be here for Valentine's Day. So,
And
you know,
that someone must be devastated. No,
they weren't weren't too bad, so it wasn't too bad.
Well,
And I realized that I'm a little ice cold, so I'm trying, to not be like that anymore.
okay. Fellas, how would y'all feel if your lady just tells you like,
But
forget
I
the
feel
Valentine's.
like,
I'll see you when I see you. I'll see you when I get back because I'm about to go take this trip real quick.
But you
Handle some
see,
business.
but
Yeah.
guys, what we need to pay attention to, which is the positive part of the conversation, was I asked. I
Yeah.
didn't just do.
No,
which is what
absolutely.
I'm more accustomed to doing. I would have just been like,
I won't be here.
I'm not gonna be here. I'll see
Okay.
you when I get back.
Well, that's good.
So in the 2023, I'm trying
To communicate,
to communicate better.
Okay.
Because we know that's one of my big issues, communication. And I'm being open right now.
Oh, we appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So
Well,
I'm
that's
proud
good.
of myself.
I think you're proud. I think that's good too. And then that just shows the transparency that you have in your relationship, understanding the dynamics and saying like, hey, this is my reality, and making sure the person is comfortable and they feel. I think the biggest thing for people is just feeling involved.
Right.
Like I just want to feel like I'm a part of your world. Like like you don't just make decisions without me because it's like, what's the point of me
Right.
being there?
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's really good. And I love that you see that for yourself.
Thanks.
Here you go, girl. Well, I hope to have Valentine's Day plans, but I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll see. But I am
some of them.
I'm a lover. I love the love, so hopefully the love me back.
Yes, it will. It will.
Yes.
And
You
we go
deserve
from there.
it.
And we go from there, y'all. So, and it's also Black History Month, you guys.
True.
So, with it being Black History Month, Sasha, you want to share a little fun fact?
A little small fun fact. One
Yeah.
of the first African American millionaires was Madam C.J. Walker. And if you don't know who she is, you can go and Google it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna be rude. But she started off with creating her own. She was a hairstylist, and she went from being a hairstylist to creating her own ointment, oil, grease, whatever you want to call it. And then she blew up from there, and she created just an empire. And she still has a mansion in New York. That
They did a Netflix series on
They
it.
did. I was going to mention that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So if you're more of a visual person and you want to you know more about her story, I think Netflix did a great
Yeah,
a
I
great
think so.
series kind of depicting her journey and she's a whole boss.
Started from the
Yeah,
house.
she is a whole boss. She really did her thing.
You would be surprised how many times in history hairstylists and barbers have been the center point of, because it was a place where people came together.
Yeah.
You know,
So many
and-
discussions were being had.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So the next episode, I'll have another one for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Sasha. That was really awesome. Madam CJ Walker in the building, making sure we stayed really, really cute. You know what I'm saying? Real cute, real cute or whatever. So, anyways, today's episode, ladies, is called "I'm a Grown Woman and I Could Change My Mind." Boom. I could change my mind. I'm a
said what
grown
I said.
woman and I said what I said. I think so many times, especially as just, I don't want to tell our age, but being a little bit
In
older.
our 30s.
Yeah, being a little bit older, you'll realize that the things or the mindset that you had in your younger years or the things you said, I would never do this and I will never. And as you get older and you're learning, and I think that's the beauty of it, right? I think people tend to look at it as a negative thing, like, oh, you didn't stick beside you didn't stay true to who you are or what you say you're going to do. No, I'm
Ever
growing.
evolving.
So if anything, I am true to myself. You know
so
what I mean?
Interesting that you said that.
So,
Just
yeah,
not gonna interrupt.
go ahead, girl.
I remember, like I said, we're gonna talk about this on the dating report. But I was talking to this dude, and he was one of those guys who, he's a part of that group. We're just gonna call him that group. And he was just saying
That
how
group.
like, oh, he met this girl and she was just like, she was a baby mama and she had a baby at like 16, 17 years old. And when she met me, she was telling me what I needed to do this, I needed to do that, and what her expectations were of him. And while we were having the conversation, I'm saying, so if you're a 16-year-old girl having a baby, you're a baby mama for life. Like, and I'm talking about the negative viewpoint of a baby
viewpoint of
mama.
that.
And then I proceeded to tell him, I said, do you know that every cell in your body completely replaces itself in 10 years? So if you meet a woman at 16 and then that same woman at 36, she's twice removed.
Yes,
She has changed as a person.
absolutely.
Physically and hopefully mentally, emotionally has changed. And we should expect that people have changed in the ideas and thoughts that you had. Shoot, I could change my mind in a day.
Correct.
It depends on what the situation is.
Absolutely.
Right? And as a grown person, you should be evolving.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. There's just this thing where it's like they almost want to keep you in a space.
Yes.
And I don't understand it. It'll never really make sense to me. But I think it takes a lot of courage, not only for a woman to continue to evolve, but for you to do it loudly and proudly.
Yeah.
Right? Because as you're evolving and you're changing, you're still, if you're someone who is not fully there, you might still hold back when you get around certain people. You still might make yourself small because this person doesn't really know that I'm into this now. Right. So let me keep it small. I there's a young lady I follow on social media and she started off as a YouTuber, but she's always been a singer, but she's dabbled and dabbled in a little everything. And I think she's come around back to, I guess, her true love, which is singing. And a lot of people were in the comments coming for her like, oh, I thought you were supposed to be doing this, or I thought you were supposed to have a boutique. She can do whatever she wants. She can wake up tomorrow and say, I don't want to do any of those things anymore. I'm going to go build a house. Like, she can do whatever it's okay to change. It's okay to want more for yourself. And it's okay to explore different parts of yourself. We are not one thing. There's so many layers to us. So I don't like the idea of like just saying, okay, this is what you said. And so if you don't stick to that, then you fake.
Right. I have that issue as stylists.
I was just about to bring it to that, but go ahead.
Okay. Hey, if you want to take it,
no,
then
go ahead.
But it's like you niche yourself, but then you'll be like, oh, I took this class and now I want to try this.
Absolutely.
And you'll meet people who will be like, oh, I thought you only did this. Because people will come in and they'll see Crystal doing locks and they'll be like, oh, I never knew you did locks. And I'll be, part of my whole face be like, okay, I mean, every time I come and see you, you only doing braids. You're not with me, but every place. I mean, there's
we don't
a lot
see
of
you that often.
Right, and they won't even ask. They will already put you in a box.
Correct.
And and we have to learn not to put people in a box. We got to ask them where they are at this moment. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I think, and that's just showing just from a hairstylist standpoint, somebody can change their overall career.
Absolutely.
I could wake up tomorrow and be like, I think I want to be a colorist. I'm gonna go back, take me some some color classes, re-up my color theory, and only thing I'm doing is color.
Absolutely. And it should be no problem about it.
Absolutely.
There should be no issues when it comes to the transitions that you go through. And I think, because we've talked about this here privately, when you're talking about, I mean, we're not celebrities or anything. We're not in the public eye. So, but when a celebrity is choosing to make certain shifts or certain transitions in their life, it can be looked at like in so many different ways. I'll give you the example of Lori Harvey, this young lady who is dating and it seems to be, to me, living her best life. And I understand, because I come from a time where, especially the celebrities that I love, I mean, to this day, I don't know who Tracy Ellis Ross is with. I don't know who Sanaa Lathan is with. Like these, in that time, social media wasn't what it was. And, and even with it being what it is now, there are certain women who still choose to live a private life when it comes to dating and relationships. I grew up Caribbean. We were very private. I'm still pretty private when it comes to what goes on in my personal life. And that's just the way that I think and that I am. But I think there's a shift happening with young girls now and young women who are free. And they're like, listen, I could like him today, and then I like him tomorrow, and then I could date and do whatever. What is y'all mindset about Lori and her dating world?
I think that we, including myself, we have all assumed way too much. And, we'll be like, oh, well, she so happens to be dating a father and a son. That's a huge assumption. Yeah. And we have never seen P. Diddy, who we talked about, ever date anybody that his son was dating. Yeah. Just on the strength of P. Diddy alone. Yeah. I was like, that don't seem his steez.
Brother love.
That doesn't seem like he wants to pick up his kids' leftovers, right?
Right.
And I would think that he would also pass on that same level of like confidence in oneself.
Mm-hmm.
All we did was see her in a picture out with them.
Yeah.
And nobody has
in a
ever
group setting.
in a group setting. And I just was like, I never took the time out to look at it because I felt like it felt creepy to do that. But I was like, did we ever go look to see if it was from the same event? And they just took a picture of her like walking with the son and then walking with Diddy. And then now we turned it into, or she spent the weekend with them. I remember somebody found some pictures of her and she was out with Tiana Taylor. This is when she used to still have long hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, it took me a second to recognize who she was. And they was like, oh, she been out. In these here streets, you just didn't know her. And I bet you if she could, other than the fact that she's now selling products, if she could keep it like that, she would, especially when so many people have so much to say. And somebody was just like, oh, well, she been with these 5 dudes. I was like, if 5 dudes is a lot, and that's considered like whole, then I was like, there's a lot of us that's in there.
Well, first of all, I don't even feel like even if you tell a man something, he gonna believe you anyways. Because there's a lot of guys who will literally have a conversation with you and ask you a question, and you give them a number, and then they'll be like, yep, times 3. Yep,
Yeah,
times
we were
like,
just watching
so it's like, okay, why am I even having this conversation with you? Because even if I tell you something, I guess you and the conversations you have with your fellas are gonna be like, nah, man, this can't be real, or she must be not telling the truth, or whatever. So I think for Lori's kind of like, well, listen, damn if I do, I damn if I don't. I'm just gonna live my life. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. Again, like I said, for me, I'm a bit more private, so I wouldn't feel comfortable unless it was and I'm talking about solid, like I'm talking about like solid for me to be out and about with you the way she is. But you know, to each his own. She chooses to do what she does. Now, I did hear something about her having these guys sign NDAs. Did y'all hear about that?
I did hear that. I think that's genius.
I'm telling you,
She
I'm like, yo, that's golden.
because you like to do that talking.
her best life.
Since
Y'all
you
not
like to
gonna talk that
talk,
talk.
you're not gonna talk about me.
Yeah, you're gonna keep it. We're done, and so you know, most recently we see she's dating someone new.
Yeah,
The young
young
gentleman
guy. What's his
from
name?
Idris, something Idris.
from Snowfall, I
From
think.
Snowfall.
it is.
yes.
Yeah,
But then I guess there were some
It doesn't
photos
matter.
with him and Michael B. Jordan.
yeah.
And so that made a whole spiel
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
were saying something about the two guys off. Again, we're assuming because we don't know if they were friends. If you're in the same community or you're in the same industry as someone, y'all see each other, y'all take photos together.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they were friends.
Definitely doesn't. But that was the same thing with Portia and her current husband, right? Because her and the lady were on the same,
On the
filming.
show.
That was her
Okay.
friend. We don't know that was her friend.
Right.
We don't know if the only conversations they had was
Was
hello
hi, bye.
and goodbye.
Right.
That's not your friend.
True.
That's your associate.
Damson.
Oh,
Yes.
Damson. Okay.
Damson.
And he is very handsome, and he sounds like Denzel Washington.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's a little
See,
cutie.
okay, I might have to go do some.
nice and chocolate.
Yeah. He just looks young to me, so I just don't.
I mean,
yeah.
but she's young too.
Well, that's why I said.
Yeah.
That's why I said for me, I don't even like. I don't know. I can't think of someone that Lori has dated that's made me be like, whoa, and except for Brother Love.
That's if she actually dated him. Allegedly.
because that was alleged. I don't know, but yeah. So she's living her life. She's doing her thing on her terms, and I think sometimes, not all men, but some men have a hard time seeing that, which is strange to me because men live their life on their terms all the time.
Right.
But
She's
it's
a
never
woman,
an
so she
issue.
shouldn't. That's the mindset. She's a young woman at that. So who is
And-
she?
Yes, and to see in the comment section, people talk about morality, and I'm just like, what the heck? When was the last time you was in somebody's church, synagogue, or temple? Right? But you're
They
gonna
was
get on
online,
these.
girl. They've been online since
Online
COVID.
church.
Right, but you have the audacity to start talking about, and I'm not. It's not that I don't believe that. Unfortunately, virtue is still important.
Right.
Right, it's still important, but it's like she's on a completely different. I mean, she's in a completely different level with the level of money and influence that she has. She was always going to be with somebody who was. She's not going to be with the average Joe.
Yeah.
She wasn't. And so unfortunately, every dude she date is going to be someone that people know in some way, shape, or form. Even if the next one is an investment banker and
Somebody know him.
somebody, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, this is very true. And you know, she said there was something most recently, she was being interviewed because she doesn't speak much anyways.
just started
and that's
doing
what you said,
interviews.
Sasha. A lot of it is just assumptions because she barely says any. Well, I don't really see her say much.
Yeah.
And she was on an interview, and I think Adrienne Ballon was interviewed, and she was saying, you know, what is it that keeps you, or what is, I forgot what the question was, but she was just basically saying, always remember that you're the prize.
Yeah.
And for a young woman her age to really, and you could see the confidence and just her body language, how confident she was, how she really believes it. And I'm not talking about just saying it, because anybody could say it, but to really believe that you are the prize, I know for me it's been a journey. You know, being a young woman and having that level of confidence, I gotta respect her, because as much as I probably thought I was secure or whatever the case was, I was still battling a lot of insecurities. There were a lot of things within myself that I wasn't totally sure and comfortable with, and dealing with whatever it is from my past, my child, down to your childhood. All of these things play a role into how you view yourself as an adult. So even if your parents said something to you 1-2 times, you almost make that a part of who you are. So if they're speaking life into you, it'll be a natural.
Right.
But if not even to say they're not speaking life, but sometimes people can project and they're saying certain fears or concerns, then you take that on too. So now you grew up with that same level of thinking. So to see a young 20-something-year-old girl like, listen, always remember that you're the prize, and to never settle and to stay true to yourself is amazing to see, because I know that's a journey that some women, even in their 40s and 50s and 60s, they still don't view themselves as the prize. They still don't. Like you said, that magic that we have, you know, they still haven't, you're not sitting in it comfortably yet.
Right.
And I think that's why she's always, whether there's a man in her life or not, I feel like she's always going to be good, no matter what turns out to be her, what her life looks like. And you know what other celebrity I used to love to see too? J-Lo.
Oh,
Yo,
yeah.
J-Lo's been married, divorced, and you know I love
She
love.
just loves.
I love love. I love
And
how
she just lives her life.
I love how she roots for love, and she does things on her terms. If she's happy, she's gonna tell you she's happy. And the minute she's done with you, she's done. And as soon as she's done, she's gonna be on to the next. Okay,
On
like
to the
she
next.
is settled in herself, and you can see it in the way she carries herself. She's very she's always been, no matter what man J-Lo standing next to, guess who everybody's looking at? J-Lo. You
And she's
understand?
been pretty much standing next to a famous man
Her whole
Her entire
for at least since we all know her.
Yeah.
Okay.
right? But you cannot keep your eyes off of her.
Yeah, she's
You
beautiful.
can't. She's beautiful. She carries herself a particular way. It's like, man, dog.
But I even think for Lori, because I read that article and I watched a couple stuff too. She said she was so proud to be on the cover of Essence for Black Love as a single woman, right? And you're thinking to yourself, wow, I wouldn't expect for, you know, a young Black girl to be on the cover by herself, right? Because we're celebrating Black love. So her Black love is loving herself,
Yeah.
first, because we say this all the time. You cannot love somebody when you do not love yourself.
true.
Because if you cannot sit in your stew, how do you expect somebody else to sit in it and eat it? It's not gonna happen. So I thought that was so profound,
Yes.
you know, for her to say that. And she said it with such grace. She was
Yeah.
like, yes,
Yeah, like this is who I am.
this is
And-
who I am.
But then look at her mom. Look at Marjorie.
Oh, yeah, she said a
Marjorie is
a
like,
gangster.
yo, when you see that woman, you see like, this is me, like shoulders back, head held high. This is who I am. And like I said, so it takes some women a long time to get
get
to that
there.
space. And no matter what room, like, you know, Jay-Z always says, no matter what room you walk into, you all the time. Not like, okay, I'm going here, so I'm going to walk like this. And then I go in
Right.
this room, I'm like, no, all the time,
time.
being true to yourself. And if you weren't like that from young, it takes a while to get there. But when you get there, man, it just feels so good. It feels so good because you don't see nobody else, and no one else could define you for you, because you know who you are in your heart. I love that. I love that for us. And I also feel like sometimes it could go opposite. So we're gonna dive right into it, you guys. Megan Thee Stallion has had these last few years have been crazy, just from the, I mean, and we're not even on social media like that, but the
Right.
things that we've read and seen, and you know, with the most recent
Right.
the
I think
case
they-
with Tory, and people just, I think, can be really harsh. I
Yeah.
think because of the way she comes off.
Yeah.
And I don't know her personally, but I've heard, you know, good and bad. But just the way she comes out, she's like, oh yeah, she be all right, she good. And not thinking like, dang, like, or even just still like, she came out really young and she's growing in the public eye. So she's experiencing a lot that most of us have a chance to, we get to fix behind closed doors.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't get that.
She's not getting that opportunity. So we seeing everything play out. Like, it's been wild.
It has been wild. I think the biggest issue. Okay, so let me say this first. I was not paying no attention to the whole Meg Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez thing until 50 Cent apologized. You're talking about a grown person changing their mind, and y'all know he don't like to apologize for nothing. He is one of them people who he is
will
for
go
the smoke.
in. Yeah.
He's creating the smoke. He's sucking it in and spitting it right back out for you. Okay, somebody who's for the smoke.
He's
And
a savage.
Straight savage, okay? Don't want to be on his bad side.
Ever.
And 50 Cent apologized. And I said, well, if he apologizing to Meg, I need to find out what really happened in all of this situation. And, you know, it's sad because particularly with Meg, she has had a lot of loss, and she has the absence of a lot of what we would call anchors in our lives through parents and because she lacks those anchors, she has put a lot into seemingly friends and associations that she has with these people. And I'm just going to be like, girl, one of the first mistakes she's made was lying on Gayle. When she was on there, she decided to get on. Y'all know what show I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She did that interview with Gayle, and she told everybody she didn't sleep with the man, and she did. Because she wasn't grown enough as a woman and confident enough as a woman to just be like, yeah, I slept with him.
Yeah,
or,
but that still don't mean you should shoot me up.
right.
Like, what?
Or she wasn't woman enough to say, Gayle, I'm not going to have that conversation with you.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just not. Because guess what? It is not. None of your business. I'm grown. But she's not grown. She's still growing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when you're in the spotlight like this, you have to make a lot of decisions in front of a lot of people. And now you're not only trying to make a split second decision, but you're trying to make it thinking about what everybody else is going to see. How everyone was going to see you. And it just, just on a whole nother level, I just realized that a lot of people lack basic comprehension skills. Like the number of people who said that she shot herself. I was like, how she shot herself? The conspiracy theories. Come on now. Tory and Meg was like Pizzagate. For anybody who understands the Trumpers. It was like Pizzagate. It was just like, that doesn't even make sense.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And then it was like, and it wasn't until the case was over. And that's when we got all of the information from the trial. And I was like, but before the trial, everything that was put out there still kind of didn't say that Meg shot herself.
Yeah.
Now,
One of them must have shot her.
someone else must have shot her.
Yeah.
Second of all, clearly, most people did not realize that most of his charges were for possession of the gun.
Correct.
So 2 of his charges are for the possession of the gun. It had nothing to do with shooting Meg. He was going to jail regardless.
Yeah.
I was like, niggas, y'all don't realize he's going to jail, period? Period? So I just was like, if y'all didn't realize he was, why are y'all so upset? It was like, they felt like Meg should have, it seems as if they felt like Meg should have said, Tory did nothing wrong. It was completely my fault.
Right.
I own the gun.
Yeah.
Which she couldn't have because she doesn't own the gun.
Correct.
That, right? So it would have been, period. They would have went and found a way to trace that gun back to Tory and said, you bought this gun. You are not legally able to hold the rights to this gun.
Right.
Because the state of California, if there's any state that's going to have some very strict gun laws, it's going to be California.
Right.
Most people didn't, it seems as if people just did not realize that 2 of his charges out of the 3 were for gun possession. So
People like a
They
story.
want to pay attention.
They like a story. So they choose what they wanted to pay attention to. Because like you said, either way.
But you talking about 2 women who changed their mind. Kelsey and Meg got up on that. wait. Kelsey and Meg got up on that.
And change.
I don't want to be here. I'm stressed.
They
I
were
feel.
done.
Wait, y'all both should have went and got y'all some Xanax. Y'all both should have sat down with a counselor. Y'all should have did whatever y'all had to do to walk up there and say what you needed to say, which was
Right.
hopefully the truth.
Right.
That's what you both should do. And now if y'all were both trying to save Kelsey from going to jail, because I done heard that conspiracy. I give it about 25% validity that she really was the one out here trying to get at Meg.
Yeah, because they were probably tussling with the weapon, and it went off.
Oh yeah, you're a Kelsey shot her conspiracy.
Listen, there's so many possibilities here, but the fact these are, and I would say
The facts
we
are-
can think whatever we want to think, but the facts are this
The
young
gun
lady
went
was
off.
shot.
And yeah,
This
even
young
if
lady
she
was
not
shot.
shot at, right?
She was
Correct.
not shot at. Yeah.
She was not shot at,
But she was hit.
but she got hit.
She got hit.
Yes.
She got hit at the end of the day, and somebody did it, and it wasn't her.
Correct.
Right.
Now, this is where you break it down. Who was there?
Let's Nancy Drew it.
Okay, Nancy Drew
Who was still in there?
Okay, you got it. Okay, Tori, Kelsey, the driver, and
Right.
so on. Okay, what was going on? Was that okay? We were partying, we was drinking, probably
Everybody
on
was lit.
everybody,
was all the way
and
lit.
so on and so forth. And Meg, she did change her mind a lot because initially she said it was glass.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
so,
yes.
so that is
Yeah,
also
because
something.
she didn't want neither of her friends to, be arrested,
I think
go
she
to
wasn't
jail.
sure. Yeah, like it's tough because there are so many moving parts.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, they had to deal with this thing in the public eye, and I think for me, I was always unsure until I heard the phone call between
yes.
Tori and Kelsey, where he was continued to apologize, and I know even then people are like, well, he didn't say he shot her. I mean, what more do you want him to say?
What he apologizing for? Then?
What more do you want him to
Nothing.
say?
He was just saying he was apologizing for the whole night. That's what I've read and seen from people. He was apologizing for how the whole night went.
Oh.
But I would think that if I didn't shoot somebody or shot a gun and I was on the phone with the person who did, I'd have been on the phone being like, so you finna let me just be up in this jailhouse
Yeah.
when you're the one who tried to shoot her?
Right. Or like, you know what, Kelsey, stop playing, man. You better tell him what you did.
Thank you. But let me tell you, people just don't like to put, X plus B equals C. We need a lot of people who need to go back and fill in obvious holes because, and let me not start talking about people in algebra.
The math ain't mathing.
The math ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing. It'll be like, this doesn't even make any sense.
It's very wild to me. But again, I think to myself, like, if a guy got shot and he said, this person shot me, would all of this back and forth have been going on?
No, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why was it so hard for it? And again, there was still a lot that was, the story changed a lot, true. But if once that man said, this is what happened to me, most people would have fell in line.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think for women, it's kind of like, man, she don't know what she's talking about. Revenge. It is
Easily
that. Yeah, we're very easily dismissed, and it's unfortunate that it has to be that way. And then too, when we do try to change, and I think that the guy she's dating now, I commend him because I feel like for a man to support a woman the way that he's shown that he's stuck. But I don't know what's going on when they together alone, but it seems like publicly he's showed her, a lot of respect because you're on stand having to talk about your body count. Like it's a lot. It got really deep. And that's, out of respect for your new relationship, that's not something you want to talk about.
Right.
That was a terrible question.
So that was tough to even,
Like,
That
what's
was
the
about
relevance?
Right. The point was the embarrassing.
I guess to make her uncomfortable, but also to, I guess, to kind of prove that her and Tori did have, some sort of relation or
Right,
whatnot.
And that was the
So
only
what?
body count that needed to be counted.
Exactly. I don't get
Did
it.
you and Tori have a sexual
Relationship.
relationship?
Mm.
Because
was the
that's
only
the
one.
grounds that he shot you on. Supposedly.
Supposedly, allegedly,
right?
yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
So why are you asking me about my past relations?
Unless it was Kelsey, and that's the reason
Right.
why she got shot on. And it's terrible because not wanting to make jokes of it, but it's almost laughable because I keep thinking these are people with money, and
Yeah.
if these people were these other people, I feel like they would have been like, by the end of the week, we're gonna all show up to the DA's office with our lawyers,
Yeah.
and we're gonna figure all of this out.
Listen, if Kris Jenner was involved,
What?
this would not even make news.
What?
You would listen. Megan
The
would have
real
been
OG.
Megan would have been owning a whole island, okay,
What?
and settled somewhere, and it would never even make news.
I wouldn't
But
have made the news. I agree.
You know, I don't know. Like, again, I don't know if maybe that's what they were trying to do and it didn't work out that way because a crime was committed, which Tory should not have had an illegal firearm.
Right.
Point blank, period. And I don't even, so see, I could never understand that. How if you don't have a record and you're able to go get a license legally, why can't you just get a gun license?
These people
So
have
how does
enough
it, what's the
money to
breakdown?
just
I don't
a
get it.
bodyguard.
Or
Get a
that,
bodyguard
or
who
that.
has a gun.
No,
And
but
save yourself from having one.
you want
Right.
to be a big man, so you have a gun.
Yeah.
Because it equates to
He
how
definitely
big of a
has
man you
Napoleon.
are.
Oh, what's the laws?
Napoleon syndrome.
He's a little guy. He's a
Sorry.
little guy.
Y'all are terrible.
But no, what are the laws like in Canada? Because, you know, I guess he's from Canada. Drake, talk to us. What's going on up there, bro? Like, are we...
I think that people have guns in Canada.
Do they not have to get a license? Like, I don't
Absolutely.
understand why.
Absolutely.
You think-
Certain of it.
Yeah.
certain of it.
Yeah.
We don't know.
There's
we
a
don't
lot
understand
of moving parts. It's a lot. And now they blaming Rock Nation.
Oh, hell.
Yo, if you go down the comments on that, that's hilarious. Rock Nation, they blame somebody talk about their hair didn't come out right. I blame Rock Nation.
I can't.
Whoa, black people are hilarious. I just love how we're able to turn anything into
a joke.
because again, it's unfortunate, and I think that if you're going based off of facts, that he was going to end up in jail anyway. So I don't really know why people are
Open
surprised.
close case.
Yeah, it was an open closed case. As far as that was concerned, everything else, people are gonna have their conspiracies,
Right.
and have their thoughts or whatever. I don't even know how Megan's gonna move forward in her career. It's gonna be interesting to see how she kind of comes out of all of this, because I don't know if she's been posting or anything. I don't know. I don't
Well,
follow
you know,
that.
I'm not
deeply,
really
but-
on social media like
So
that,
I don't know what the background of that has been, but
I just want to give an appeal to Meg. If you need some sisters, like some older sisters, specifically myself, I'm the oldest of two.
big sis.
I could really, actually three, because I got a 16-year-old, my sister,
Okay.
and then my sister, and then my brother. They will all let you know I give very good advice. If I have to, I could be real holy, and then every now and again I'll be a bitch, please. It's whatever you need.
Depends on the day.
Like,
Depends on the day.
it depends on the situation, right?
Uh-huh.
And I would have been, if you had a sister like me, I'd have been the first one knocking on Kelsey's door, making sure her teeth was straight, because I would have been the first one that said, if your mouth ain't saying what need to be said, it ain't gonna be no question.
problem.
Because like looking at that whole situation, I was like, girl, you need to reset your whole friend group.
Yeah.
Your whole
There's-
friend group.
There's something going on. In
Right.
the friend
I could be
group.
your sister. You ain't got to pay me. I don't need no clout, nothing. Cause I don't need your type of clout or nothing like that. And nothing against that. It's all good. Cause you know, I like dollars and bills. So
Yeah.
I don't need, there's no clout. We ain't gonna never talk. We could just sit down at a table and have some real in conversation. Because when we have some real in conversation, maybe you could, cause I would have thrown all my friends away. I would have been like, all of them.
But it maybe that might be maybe that might be the tough. And again, unfortunately, it had to happen so publicly.
Yeah.
But maybe that's what needed to happen for her to have a shift and to see
Yeah.
life differently, and to see that, hey, my circle wasn't really looking out, because wasn't they looking for her security guard dude with ghosts?
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of people who, and that's why I get
So many
people why
things.
there's so many people who still have conspiracy theories in reference to that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why didn't they interview the bodyguard?
Yeah,
Why
there's
wasn't
so
the
many
driver
moving parts.
interviewed? And I'm sorry, they're in the middle of Calabasas. You don't think those people live in places where there's cameras everywhere?
True that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Everywhere?
there's so much more, and there's probably things we'll
So
never
many
know.
holes in the story.
Yes, things that we'll never know.
Let me tell you.
But unfortunately, this young lady had to experience something so public that I don't know. It's kind of like, no matter what Chris Brown does, we'll never forget
Oh my
that.
God.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
Unfortunate.
unfortunately, I hate to say it, it almost feels like that's going to be what it's
Follows
going to
her.
follow her in her
I hope
career.
not.
Like, no matter what, we're going to always remember.
Even if it's as a joke.
Yeah. And that's the tough part. Like, yeah.
Because somebody could just be
It's
like,
never
oh,
gonna go
well,
away.
you know, she hurt her toe. Oh, it's not glass.
Yeah.
You know, like she'll never be
Yeah.
able to just,
Live it
Live it down.
Live it down. And that's the part that just,
and that's not the type of changes you want. Like, you know, us talking about I'm a grown woman, I changed my mind. You want to have, what's the new phrase? Soft life.
yeah.
You want to be able, like, if you can make changes in life without something traumatic happening to
Yeah.
you, or some type of terrible thing happening to you, then try to make those changes. Try to grow and evolve in ways that's like reading a book, listening to a podcast,
right,
taking wise advice from people who are older than you. Like, there's a lot of ways. But hey, I'm certain her mind has been changed on a lot of things since then.
So how did you guys feel like when you guys started to create certain shifts in your lives? How do you feel like it was received from the people in your lives? Do you guys feel like the transition? Did you get support, or did sometimes people kind of push back, like, Crystal, that's not how you are, or like, Sasha, stop playing. You never liked X, Y, and Z, like, or did you feel like people were kind of like, oh, okay?
I feel like it was a mixture of both, which is what I was going to say earlier. Like, being grown now, I mean, I've been doing hair. Last year, I celebrated 10 years doing hair professionally. And, I've had some of these same clients all 10 years since I've been doing hair professionally. Then 5 years when I wasn't doing it professionally. So it was so interesting to have these conversations with them, right? Because, like, going back to at-home hairstylist, I was an at-home hairstylist, and I felt like my time was not appreciated. I'm at your house, you're cooking, you're washing, you're cleaning, you're taking care of your kid. So now a service that takes me 3-4 hours to do, I'm there for 8 hours. So no, I can't plan my day. So that was one of the major reasons why I shifted from, being a travel stylist to actually working at a salon. And I did lose a lot of clients because, when you go into the salon back in our day, when you went from being at home to going into the salon, you charge more money because there's now an overhead. So there's more bills, more bills that you have to cover for. So I did lose a few clients, and they were looking at me like, girl, go and sit down. Where do you think you're going? Oh, I'm going to go and be a professional. That's where I'm going. So, in that transition, that was, I lost some, I gained some. Some people were excited. Some people were happy for me. Now the transition went from working at a salon to owning my own salon. So that was another transition where people were like, oh, I see you. That's it. That's
what you're doing?
You're growing.
Yeah.
You're doing big girl things.
Yeah.
So I feel like for each transition, it's been different. And I feel like we're going through a new transition now. Like making sure that we're making the right decisions for our business so that we can grow and so that we can expand, and become the big business that we want to be.
Exactly.
Everybody's not going to be able to come with you.
Correct.
So sometimes for us, it's hard being in this business, and you're seeing, for me, whenever I go on stylist page and I see they have like 10 stylists, they have a front desk person, they have somebody who doing nails, whatever the case may be, whatever the setup is, I'm always like, what is it that we're missing? And then I have to look back and say, it's not us, because for the most part, we're doing the right things.
Really well, yeah.
Thank God for that.
And then people show you what they want you to see.
Yes.
So that doesn't necessarily mean because you saw the salon full that day,
correct,
and they recorded it, doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you're gonna experience all the time. Because
exactly.
I mean, just think about, first of all, right now, nobody wants to work.
Which is what I was about to say.
Nobody even wants to work right now. So you're talking about trying to keep a staff. Everyone's having a hard time doing that.
Yes.
So you guys are doing a great job. You're doing a good job.
Sis, you're doing a good job.
What about you, Sasha?
Okay, so mine was with therapy, right? I have not the greatest temper. And people have seen the bad side of it, but not as many people have seen the worst of it. And a big part of it is just growing up around people anyway. And so I remember, when I first started going to therapy, my first therapist, I remember somebody really close to me, because I slipped. I got upset about something and and they was like, oh, so you going to therapy? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I have been making changes, because my usual response would have been in second one versus in and 10 counts later. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I did the breathing and I counted 10 and I'm still mad. So now what?
Now what? And, you learning how to better articulate how you feel. And I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form I'm perfect. There's certain things that are triggers for me that, hey, but it was hurtful, to be like, I'm trying to change. You know what I'm saying? And this is how sometimes people don't end up changing, is because they'll be trying to change and then someone will turn around and make fun of the change that they're trying to make. And I know that for a lot of times people, therapy is still like it's still taboo, which is completely blows my mind. Everyone needs to go to therapy, in my opinion. Everyone needs to sit down with someone who doesn't know your business and talk out your business with them. And whether you are, and there's people who, from religious reasons why they don't go to therapy, or just because they just don't want to deal with their stuff. But therapy was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. You know, it wasn't just someone telling me, oh, you right, they did you wrong.
Right.
It was a lot of, okay, they did you wrong, so what you finna do next? How are you gonna improve your life? Versus you just gonna sit and being mad? You gonna always be no. And so yeah, that was one of those changes. And I mean, I think that there has been a big change over the years of me going to therapy. And you know, I don't feel like I'm a completely different person, but I'm an evolved version of me.
Correct. Yeah. I can kind of relate to the both of you, where in my personal life I feel like I've dealt with a lot of learning how to own my voice. Again, coming from a Caribbean home, it's kind of like, just do what they tell you to do. Don't ask questions, and don't even think about saying no, because that's going to be a problem. So now, growing into an adult, I brought in those same traits into my relationships with people. Not totally being secure in myself, not knowing how to fully own my voice, or to even value myself, or to see myself as an asset in relationships with people, whether with a partner or friendships or whatever the case may be. And the older I got and the more comfortable I got with myself, I saw not only did what wasn't for me just go, but what was for me came naturally too. So I think sometimes when you're very settled in who you are and comfortable with yourself, whatever it's supposed to, it's naturally you're gonna draw in that what's right for you. And whenever it's something that isn't right for you, it'll dismiss itself, because naturally you're not going to be able to tolerate it, and it's not going to even be a fight. It'll just, the shift will just naturally happen. You
saying that made me think change is inevitable.
It is.
And I think sometimes we're angry with the world because we're not willing to go with the change. You know what I'm saying? You mad because you fighting against the stream.
Yeah.
Versus being like, okay,
let's fall back.
Enjoy
and
let
flow
it happen.
And flow with it.
Yeah.
And you also have to, my mindset now is I don't look at negative things negatively. They're lessons. They're just lessons to catapult me to my next level. Like, and I tell Crystal this all the time, even with like last year, the highs and the lows of last year. And as soon as I find myself going down that hole, I'm like, Crystal, you know what? This was a lesson. And you know, the next experience is going to be It's going to be it. It's going to be so much better. I learned from this. And this was for me to experience. So that's the beautiful thing about change too. So I love the fact that we're continuously changing, evolving, and growing. And that we still take time to look in the comment sections. What's going on? Give us the report, Sasha. What's going on in the comment section? Because the comments is a mess.
Wait, give me a second. I'm trying to find
this.
it.
You guys, this one here.
I can't wait till y'all see it.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. It was like one of those ones where you're just like, it's on Baller Alert. And this, you know how units are in now for dudes. Like, dudes are like, if women tricking us, we finna trick you.
And bravo, fellas. I have no issue with it.
And
I
always want to like show you my phone to be like, so you can see it.
But it'll be on the screen.
It's gonna be on the screen. You gonna see this dude over here rocking waves, but it's a cap. Like at first you gotta look at. Because when I first saw it, I was like, is that a black tennis ball? I thought it was like a black, like a half a tennis ball or like a net or something else. And then I was like, you know, you keep staring and you're like, oh, that's hair. That's waves.
And it's the confidence he felt after he put on the headpiece for me. He chewed his gum.
And it's fake gum.
Yeah.
Like, and he doing this and he do. You know how like when dudes with waves, they seem like they want to brush their hair all the time. You be like,
he's touching the wave.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
And people are like, get the fuck out of here. Like, literally, fuck out of here. That's what they saying. And then they was like, yo, why is he chewing gum all of a sudden?
Yo, it's the confidence.
His confidence he stood up.
I'm sure if he had a toothpick, boy, that toothpick would have been right there.
Oh, the toothpick would have been perfect. That would have been a better look. Because it's like, it's him chewing this invisible gum that's taking me out. I mean,
I didn't realize he was chewing invisible gum.
Yes, there's nothing in his mouth.
Extra with it. It's so funny. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. He said, and then a lot of people are like, why not? Women have had weave headbands for like a decade.
Yeah.
I mean, we got the ponytails.
We got the headband wig. Women have literally the hats that you could throw on a hat and it has
Yep,
hair,
and it have the hair.
on the side.
And you just put a hat on top.
Yeah.
You put.
I'm mad that we didn't come up with it, guys.
Dog
Yeah,
it.
that would have been
That's
a
where
good
we
one.
messed up.
They even got the
Yes.
braids and stuff now too.
They got it all.
Exactly. And then somebody said, not they making headband wigs for niggas too. I was like, people said, oh, Kenya talking about OMG, why not?
Okay.
Hey, I
here
ain't mad
for
at
it
it.
all.
Oh, it's a lot of famous people, a lot of blue checks up in here with comments. I was like, okay then. I didn't know why some men won't just embrace the bald head. That is sexy too. Some women like them. I'm some women. Right.
Okay.
I mean, I like a bald head. We talked about that last
Couple episodes.
last season.
Yeah, but it's just
when we was
like,
talking about-
it's just like some guys liking women with natural hair. But if I don't want to wear my hair that way, I think you should be able to feel whatever you feel good, confident, comfortable with. I don't feel like you should shame someone into being something they don't want to be. If he feels better with his cap, let that man wear his cap.
With that tennis
y'all.
ball on his head.
Just make sure, like,
Y'all
you
better
know
leave
what
that
I'm
man
saying? Like, just make sure it's secure. That's all I'm gonna say.
There's some guy named Marcus or Marcel Wiley, and he said, I just might have to because he bald headed as well. I mean, hey,
It is what it is.
rock your fake
Sir,
waves.
bravo to you
Bravo.
and the way that you rocked it and chewed that fake gum.
Yeah.
I salute you,
Yeah,
brother.
it's the whole look
I
for me.
salute you, brother.
It's the
I'm
whole
here.
look.
Listen,
You got it.
and don't come for him.
Don't come.
And
from
that's
him.
that. You guys, today's episode was such a good one. I had so much fun as per usual.
Yeah, we have a good time.
You guys, I am hoping that we find the love, because I love the love.
Love the love.
But if you know, outside of loving the love, I love y'all.
We love
So
y'all
that's
too.
what matters. That's what matters. You know,
We
it's a
love
season of
everyone
love.
here in the
We
room.
love y'all.
Yes.
We love our support system. They probably mad at us because it gets really heated behind the scenes, guys. But either way,
Yeah, one day we have to share.
will catch y'all on the next one. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.